For our project, our question was, why does the moon change shapes? The first step of our protocol was to ask the students to draw the different shapes they have seen the moon look like.
Here is the drawing that fourth grader Lou created for us. We could tell right away that she understood the moon went through a series of phases, and we then asked her to explain what she drew for us. Here's our explanation.
I have 6 different moon shapes. And the first one is a full moon. It's like the whole moon. And the second one is half a moon. And the third one is a quarter of a moon. And the fourth one is like tiny, a bit more tinier than the corner moon. And this one is like the whole moon, but it has a part missing. And the last one is a little bit less than the half moon.
Our next student was third grader Allie. This is her drawing, which looks very similar to the one that Lou created. Here's her explanation of what she drew.
I have 5 on here, and I drew the full moon, the half moon, two moons that I forget what it's called, and then another one that I've only seen once, and I forgot what that one was called too.
The last student we interviewed was Aiden, who was in third grade. He gave us the most detailed drawing, including a visual of the sun as well. Listen to what he has to say about his picture.
The full moon, which is when you see the whole moon. These are not half, these are 1/4 of a moon, so this is the littlest 2 that you can see. These are this is half, so this is not the biggest, but half of what you can see, I guess. And then these are the 3/4 moon, and then these are the almost biggest except for the full. Full is the biggest.
After observing their drawings and hearing their explanations, we decided to take our protocol to the next level. We showed them a diagram of the moon changing shapes as it goes around the Earth based on the positioning of the sun. We wanted to give them this visual before asking them why they thought the moon went through different phases, to give them a better visual of the process. Then we asked them, based on what you can see in this diagram, why do you think the moon changes shapes? Here are their responses.
I think because the Earth rotates, so like if it was a full moon, then you would see the moon, but like since the Earth moves, I think that also the moon like becomes smaller and smaller, and then a full moon again.
That the moon changes shapes because since the Earth is moves around in a circle, the moon stays in place, but the Earth is moving, so it's the shadow from the Earth hits on the moon, and then it cuts off some of the moon.
Well, I don't know if there's seasons on the moon, but it travels around the moon just like the Earth, and the moon always follows the Earth. And then the moon also rotates. The moon doesn't rotate sideways, but it goes in circles around the Earth, and then the Earth goes in circles around the sun.
Based on these videos, something that we saw was that the students knew the moon looks different, but did not clearly and fully understand how it's affected by the moon and Earth's rotation.
And if we're being honest, we didn't have the perfect understanding of this either before we started this project. The shapes that you see of the moon are actually the different phases that the moon passes through as it makes its way traveling around the Earth. While it may look like the moon is changing shape, we are just seeing the moon from a different angle as it travels around the Earth. As it moves around the Earth, the moon changes its position and distance from the sun and reflects the light from the sun in a different way, but it still keeps its spherical shape. The moon just looks different to us depending on where it is in its orbit. Each month, our moon passes through 8 phases, and the first phase is the new moon. From Earth, we can see the moon grow from a thin crescent to a full moon and then shrink back to a thin crescent again before vanishing for a few days. The cycles of the moon are important for students to know because it helps them understand the influence the moon has on our lives. The different phases explain how the moon is in synchronous rotation with the Earth. While it may not impact us as much as the sun, the moon still affects our ocean tides and minute lengthening of the day. All of these students succeeded in using their own observations to make an hypothesis about why the moon changes. However, without learning about